Hallo, assalamu alaikum. Good morning, khushamdi, ji ayanu, goedemorgen.
Pocheragale ni hao, Chunashume, Washmale, Ohio, Gunzaimus, Guten Morgen, Ola, Boyor, Privyet, Kaifahal, Haleshima Chatore, Ahlan Wasalan Marhaba, Buna, Mucho, Gracias, Swabiab, Balli Karaya, and a very warm welcome to everybody who's tuned into PTV World and are watching World this morning alongside the very fantastic, the very superb Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Khan. Hello Shiza, how are you doing on a cold Tuesday morning over here in Islamabad?
I'm doing absolutely great, and today happens to be the perfect weather that I absolutely love. It was raining when I came to the office.
Yes.
Well, drizzling actually.
Yep.
But it felt like it did rain early in the morning when we were asleep, so all the roads are wet and it's cloudy over here, a little foggy. Just an absolute stunning view. Islamabad as it is, right?
It is. It does look wonderful and superb as well, but I'm the kind of guy who actually loves
Likes-
sun quite a lot as well.
exactly.
So even yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, it was the conditions were overcast as well. So I didn't really like it though. But since my co-host over here likes the weather, so I think I'm just going to go with that. Yes, the weather is amazing today.
It
so for
is.
everybody who was actually planning to go outside, please make sure that even if you go outside, make sure that you're going to maintain and follow all the SOPs as well, because COVID, ladies and gentlemen, is at large, and we
It's
really
here
need to
to stay.
control it by following all the SOPs as well. But do we have a message today?
Well, actually, of course we do. So, yesterday you and I were talking and you said something that really sticked with me.
All right, what was that?
And something to do with how sometimes even if something bad happens to you or the heart gets broken,
Yep.
it's not always in vain. I mean, you definitely take something out of it,
Yeah.
and you definitely always end up with a lesson. But the exact words actually made sense. What were they?
All right, so the exact words were that a lot of things broke my heart but fixed my vision. And it kind of stuck to me as well. You know, this is something which I read somewhere. I cannot quote the person who's actually uploaded this quotation as well, because
Okay.
he only wrote CEO underneath that as well. So I didn't really know who that CEO was. But
Okay.
as a matter of fact, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot of reality behind this quotation as well.
True.
And I think that in life, whatever kind of personality we have or we do possess, or the characteristics we do possess, are because of the fact that the kind of lessons we have learned over and over the period of time. And I think that for all of those people who have that fixed vision are actually not going to go back into that turmoil which actually broke their heart.
Absolutely. And Shazad, this also leads us to the understanding of how different people have different personalities,
Yeah.
right? So if something bad does happen to someone, there are some people who have it in them or actually have the courage to take a lesson out of it
Yes.
and, make things easier. But some people just cannot get over it. They might just override with negativity and, think of revenge and whatnot and just really not feel good about the other person. So which mentality do you want to have for today? I really hope is the positive one.
Yeah,
We wish-
I
yeah.
think that the kind of mentality I've had over the years is that, that whoever's done whatever, I seriously do not care about it, because I have fixed my vision already. So, thinking about all of what has happened, I don't think that there's any point about it as well. Rather, investing my energies in thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow, or thinking about a tomorrow or a future where all of that is not going to happen, is something which I'll be investing my energy in as well. And ladies and gentlemen, similar kind of people are over here in the studios with us today as well,
Yeah.
who've actually invested their energies into something which really gives them an adrenaline rush. There's a heart pump as well, and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Shazad,
I'm
in the me too, beginning of the show where you said that well, COVID is here to stay, but of course we need to follow the SOPs. So this is one of the things that brings the things that we're going to talk about today. It brings joy, of course. It boosts the economy and tourism, of course. But the good part is this did not stop because of the COVID-19 going on as well. So the people who did arrange it were really, conscious or cognizant that they have a social responsibility of following the SOPs.
Exactly.
Regardless, they did follow the SOPs, also carried out this event, which was again a huge success.
Yes.
We're really excited to talk about it. Let's just get to it.
So very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into that, let me tell you that, I myself, I'm a motor enthusiast, ladies and gentlemen, and I love cars and all kinds of cars. I mean, anything with a wheel. I mean, just imagine. So anything with wheels, ladies and gentlemen, may it be a motorbike, may it be an airplane, may it be
Rollerblades.
may it be rollerblades, may it
Really?
be cars. Yes. So
Okay.
so I love them, and horses as well. So I think that's the only kind of interest I've ever had ever since I was born as well. So I was very excited alongside my producer and my team to actually arrange this show, and I'm very glad that all of these people have taken out time. But there's another motive as well.
Okay.
Since, ladies and gentlemen, I've not seen a lot of television channels covering all of these things and these sports stars as well. So I think it is our responsibility to give that platform to these people who've actually done an amazing job. So, ladies and gentlemen, I think before we give it out to anybody else out there, we have a small report to share. Go ahead, take a look, and wear your seatbelts, ladies and gentlemen, because it is going to be a roller coaster ride. Let's take a look. Good morning.
Let's take a look.
District Chubara Tehsil hosted the 3-day rally which was participated by 85 racers, including 2 women. The day first was meant for qualifying round and a total of 88 vehicles were registered in all categories. The starting point head Muhammad Wala, a due named Changa Manga, remained crowded with locals. As many as 44 racers took part in the final round of prepared category. The mega event also features a Thul festival, comedy skits and the local Jhumar dance were also performed. Various cultural activities, sports competitions, tent pegging and horse and camel dance were also performed at the 3-day festival. Government and private institutions have displayed the colorful culture of the desert at their stalls. Government and police have made a foolproof security arrangements for the event. A food street was also been established. Additional Deputy Commissioner told the media that it was a great honor for the district, where such an international competition were being held.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so Pakistan's home to international competitions such as we were sharing with you guys as well, because these were the images from Thal Desert Rally which took place. But not just that, ladies and gentlemen, we were very lucky that, from 2 different categories, we have actually been joined by the champions themselves as well. We have the navigators, we have the drivers, and we have the people who have been supporting all of these athletes and all of these sports stars or drivers for that matter as well. So without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me do the introduction very quickly. So this gentleman is the one who's actually been supporting all of these people, all of these athletes. And not just that, let me be very clear over here that, they're not only supporting people who've actually been drivers within the desert rallies as well. They've been supporting people who do MMA. They've been supporting people who play hockey. They have been supporting the athletes of Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen. He belongs to Top City. He happens to be the Chief Operating Officer for Top City 1 as well. He is Brigadier Retired Sikandar Khan Saab. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you for invitation.
Thank you very much for joining us. And I think that you're doing a wonderful job by providing all of these youngsters that platform which they require at this particular age. Because God forbid, if they do not get this platform, they might detract and they might get into drugs and so many other things as well. So thank you very much, Sikandar Saab, and thank you very much, Top City 1 as well. Alongside Brigadier Retired Sikandar Khan Saab, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been within the women's category. We have been joined by the champion who actually secured the first position in the Thal Desert Rally as well.
Household name now.
Yes, she is Miss Salma Marwat Khan. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Assalam. Good morning.
Congratulations to you too as well.
Thank you so much.
You've done a wonderful job.
Yes, and you look absolutely wonderful right now.
Wonderful. Alongside Miss Salma, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman obviously over here in Islamabad is a household name as well. And I never knew that he was the gentleman who was actually a desert rally driver, because we used to go to the same gym, and I've been to his workshop quite a lot of times. It's a very different workshop setup. You take your supercars over there and he's going to fix them for you. Thinking about supercars over in Pakistan, ladies and gentlemen, was a dream. But this guy has made sure that it's going to come true as well. And he secured the 2nd position in his category as well. He's a champion to all of us. He is Mr. Adil Naeem. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Walaikum salam. Thank you. Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you very much for joining us. And the initiative of his workshop, ladies and gentlemen, goes with the name of HPR. It's a household name once again for all of those people who are motor maniacs as well. And ladies and gentlemen, desert rallies are very different and they are very difficult as well. And you need somebody to keep an eye on the road, and you need somebody to let you know what is going to be ahead, probably 500 meters or 1,000 meters. We will be asking about that as well. And you cannot win without a good navigator as well. So we are very lucky that we've actually been joined by a navigator as well. He is Mr. Muhammad Marwat. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Walaikum salam. Good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us, champions. It's great to host you over here on our show as well.
All right, so if I could begin the conversation,
Sure, why
I'm going to
not?
start with Mr. Sikandar over here. So first of all, congratulations on
Thank you
pulling
so
this
much.
off.
Thank
This
you.
is the
Thank
second
you.
year, and you were also appreciated by the TDCP for doing this, right? Which is brilliant. But now, sir, I don't know if you have been an athlete or not, but you do sponsor and actually encourage a lot of athletes to come in different fields. Where does this come from?
Basically, it is the CEO's vision to search and find out the talent in Pakistan, the upcoming talent, and we sponsor them. We provide them the opportunities to come forward,
Right.
and that basically helps Pakistan in improving that soft image that we are not the terrorist country.
True.
In such challenging and difficult condition, if we can produce such people, if given, we gave them that environment, I think we can go much ahead in the sports.
Absolutely. And this is what we saw this year
And this
as well.
what we are doing as a business entity. Top City One is just promoting not only this team, but there are others also, which I am going to mention later on.
All right, please do
Thank
that.
you.
But sir, also, was this any different because of the pandemic this year?
It was difficult, but then the rallies, they go as per the pre-planned schedule which they have.
Okay.
So there was no postponement, there was no delays. It went on the given date.
Okay.
Wow, and that's wonderful as well. But let's move on to Miss Salma as well, because Salma, I think you're one of those people who are breaking stereotypes as well, and to see somebody winning a desert rally, and that to a lady, I think is something very new for people over here in Pakistan as well. So first of all, how did you get into racing? I mean, this is the most important question. कैसे आपने रेस करना शुरू की?
Well, as a child, cars and racing had been my main interest. Even I learned driving from when I was 13 years old.
Wow.
I sneaked out of my father's car for a quick drive.
Yeah.
And slowly I learned how to drive. So
And
I never played with dolls. I only played with cars. And I used to play video games, and I preferred only car racing.
Oh, that's
Wow.
nice. But did you ever think that you were going to end up being a racer?
No.
Right. So how long have you been doing this for? How many years?
From 2018.
Okay, that's nice.
so
That's
it's been only 2 years, you know.
and you're already winning.
Yes, Alhamdulillah.
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह. तो किसी को जब जब 2 ही साल हुए हो रेसिंग करते हुए, तो दूसरे साल में ही वो टाइटल भी लेके वापस आ जाए, ये थोड़ी सी अनहोनी नहीं?
नहीं अनहोनी नहीं, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह ये है कि आपके पास आपका जो पैशन है, मेरा पैशन था फ्रॉम चाइल्डहुड। मैंने मतलब कि मैं बड़ी डिफरेंट किस्म की लड़की थी। मुझे चैलेंजेस एडवेंचर्स ये बहुत ना मुझे एंजॉय करती थी कि मैं कुछ ऐसा काम करूं, और था माइंड में कि पाकिस्तान में मैं कुछ करना चाहती हूँ। मैं स्कूल कॉलेज में भी स्पोर्ट्स में रह चुकी हूँ। मैं नेशनली खेल चुकी हूँ, बास्केटबॉल, वॉलीबॉल, नेटबॉल। मैं साइकिलिंग में भी चैंपियन थी, मुझे कोई हरा नहीं सकता था।
That's nice.
एथलेटिक्स में थी, जेवलिन, शॉट पुट थ्रो, डिस्कस थ्रो, मतलब सब कुछ करती थी। बट पाकिस्तान में अगर देखा जाए इतना स्कोप मतलब कि नहीं, इतना इनकरेज नहीं किया जाता फीमेल को। तो बस मैंने फिर जब देखा कि यहाँ पे मैं सोशल मीडिया पे काफ़ी ग्रुप्स को फॉलो करती थी, तो एक देखा मैंने ग्रुप, वहाँ पे उनको डिमांड थी कि उनको फीमेल रेसर चाहिए। फिर मैंने वहाँ पे अप्लाई किया, एंड विद इन 2 days लकीली मुझे रिस्पॉन्स भी आ गया।
Wow, that's wonderful and that's superb as well. And ladies and gentlemen, it is always important to be at the right place at the right moment as well.
Oh, yeah, that
where Salma
matters.
was, I think, and we're glad. But now moving on to Adil. So Adil, we know it for sure. I know it. But we want to, we want you to share your story with our audiences as well. How did you get into it? You've been a motor enthusiast all your life as well. You have your own setup. You prepare cars. You get them ready. You prepare supercars as well. So how did you get into it?
Well, from the beginning, like Salma also mentioned, I've also been a motorist, and I've always loved cars. And I also work for a telecom company in parallel.
Wow.
Yeah, so my passion was always to build cars. So I started this thing in 2003. It's 2003. And so it's been a long journey now. So we've been into drag racing, circuit racing, go-kartings, and all kind of other 4x4 rallies as well. But this was my first time that I participated as a driver in
All right.
Thal. Yeah, and I secured the second position in A stock category.
So, I mean, how does that happen? Do you guys have a magic wand that you kind of just do something and you guys come out winning as
No,
well?
really, because
for
one
the
would-
very first time it is hard, and we're talking about a desert rally where you just don't know what's happening in the desert.
Right, because this is one of the things that you cannot just learn by looking at it. So how come the first time you tried, you
But
just
he has been participating earlier also as a navigator.
As a
Oh,
navigator.
right.
Yeah.
That
Actually,
makes
this is my second year. The last year I was Salma's navigator.
Okay.
So although
He's my teacher too now.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, last year, although I was sponsored by Top City and I was told to drive the car as well, but I said, this is my first year, so it's better for me to just get the experience in desert, because the driving on the road and desert is totally different. The fields are
Exactly.
totally different.
Right.
Exactly.
So I learned last year, I experienced the desert reactions and everything, and then this year I raced. It was the first time, so I got the second position. But yeah, like you asked that, how do we do it? I think it's not just specifically preparation for that race. It is the whole experience which I had in last 10, 15 years of driving.
Wow.
So it's a sum of all the experiences you have.
That's wonderful, but I think that the only interesting question which I can come across right now is that Salma just mentioned that you are her teacher as well. So how is it for the teacher to be at the second position and the
Oh,
student to be at the first position?
No.
It's different categories.
No, let me ask.
I
yeah.
can say it's a big achievement, first rally and second position.
Exactly.
Honestly, like
No, it
Of
is.
course, of
That's
course.
not what we are saying.
It was on a
but-
lighter note.
Oh, yeah, on a lighter note.
I think it's a little bit of a discrimination. Actually, I was in the A stock category, which is one of the toughest category after A prepared. So we had like 15 participants, and then you have some serious machines in it, like 4,000 cc plus cars.
So tell us about the different categories.
We'll get
as
to that.
well.
Actually, I really want to move on to the Navigator over here right now. You explain to us, first of all, what a Navigator does and how long have you been doing this for?
Navigator is in the chair waiting for the car to probably rumble and go around as well and just be there and obviously whenever I see the Navigators, I think they're just at the risk of the driver doing a blunder. Just one small mistake and everybody's going to go down. God forbid.
That is true. Navigator plays an important role in the rally field, because rallying is not a drag race or a drift, which is for 400 or 1 kilometers. It's a 200, 300 kilometers race in the desert. So a driver can only focus on the visual in front of him that is around 100 meters or 50 meters. The navigator basically has to tell him that there's a caution ahead, or there's a jump, or there's a crest.
Yeah.
So the driver has to stay alert and he has to listen to his navigator's call. If he does not listen to his navigator's call, it is very unlikely to finish the race. He'll probably roll over the car, or he'll break the car, or he won't get into the podium.
Yeah.
No, but because of your position, you really have to be acquainted very well with the terrain and the track, right?
Yes, well, I started my, in my first rally, I was a co-driver as well.
Okay.
I started in 2016.
Wow.
It's been 4 years. And my father told me that if you want to get into the rallying field, the first thing you should go is to go as a co-driver,
Yeah.
not drive.
Okay.
So I went with a very senior driver. His name was Nadeem. He's from Islam Jeep Club. I belong from Islam Jeep Club as well.
Okay.
So he's an experienced driver, and I went with him, and he taught me how to co-drive basically, or navigate. You have to look ahead than me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so the most common thing which I've witnessed is that, whenever you see a navigator, whenever they show you a shot of a navigator, he or she is holding a map in,
Yeah.
in their hands, right?
Exactly.
I mean, for people who really cannot understand where Google Maps is taking them, isn't it difficult to see the location from the map itself? And how do you decide? How does it work, in fact? It's fascinating.
Actually, for motorsports, there are different kind of applications
Okay.
which are much more accurate than Google Maps.
Okay.
So when you use them on the rallying field, they're much more precise, and they give you exact call-outs where to go, left, right, the directions.
Yeah.
So navigator basically has to see the map. He also has to see the car's initials, the car's temperature, the condition of the engine, the tires, everything. So he has to manage everything. The driver just has to drive and keep the car on the track. That's.
Right.
So is the driver always all ears for the navigator?
I assume someone who wants to get on the podium, he has to be all ears.
Oh,
Really?
definitely. But is there like ever a conflict?
Well, there can be, and when there's a conflict, the driver doesn't get on the podium. Yeah,
That
it's simple.
happens. Doesn't end up winning.
So I think that this is a question which we should actually ask Salma and Adil as well. That have you ever had a conflict with your navigator?
Well, yeah, it depends, and it happens actually.
All right.
But at the end of the day, it's the driver's call because he's on the driving seat.
But we want you to share an incident. What happened?
Well, luckily this year, my first rally, Marwat was my navigator.
All right.
Okay.
And I think we missed one turn. So we went into a village where we, but yeah, it was his call, which was a wrong call.
Same happened with me on the same track.
And
On the
your
same
navigator
track.
was Adil?
No, no, no.
All right.
No, this year it was Terence actually. He's not in the show right now, but yeah, he was there. So yeah, the conflicts happen actually, and but at the end of the day, it's a driver's call.
So even when you took a wrong turn, you went
Yeah.
into a village, you still secured second position.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that means that you were really quick.
yeah. We were lucky actually, and I think we didn't waste a lot of time. I think it was a minute or minute and a half, but we took a U-turn and like we covered it up.
Wow.
And by the way, the difference between the second and the third position was of just 1 second.
1 second.
Whoa.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
wow.
wonderful.
I mean, we have watched a lot of movies where if the driver goes wrong, I mean, there's a whole story which happens next in the village, but it's all fun and games. So which one of you is going to explain to us, the layman over here, the categories and, I mean, how many laps, how long it's supposed to be and everything?
Yeah, well, I can quickly explain it to you.
Okay.
There are basically 9 categories in total, and there are total 4 categories in which you have 2 subcategories.
Okay.
So basically, you have D, like you start with A, which is the topmost category, which you have the topmost highest rating engines, which is A category, then B, C, and D. And then you have a specific woman category.
Okay.
And in each category, you have a prepared and a stock category. So prepared, you have to fully build, you're allowed to fully build your car. And in stock, you cannot like change any modifications as per the stock rules.
Really? So whatever car you're driving, you just take it to rally.
Yeah, you can just put some aftermarket shocks in it, and that's all. And the roll cage for the safety.
But that's it.
That's it.
Very much.
Yeah.
Okay, and like, I don't know if I'm using the right term, but like sort of the eligibility criteria for the motor.
Yeah.
I mean, which one can enter? Are there some limits to it?
Horsepower or something.
Yeah.
Well, the D category, it starts with the Gemini, which is a 1.3 engine, and that's the minimum category you have. It has to be a 4-wheel with a good suspension system. Now, I think over the years, I think in Pakistan, the rally cars and the rally standards have gone really high, actually.
Really? Okay.
And it's improving day by day.
Exactly.
nice.
And that's wonderful, and we want to see it as well. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, prior to when I actually started to work for this channel as well, I was working for a private channel, and we used to go and cover these desert rallies as well. And I think that the one I remember was somewhat around. I just cannot. It's the name is a little difficult as well, but I'm going to come back to this one. I think you can remind me. Nadir Maksi sahab used to actually win that rally almost every year. Jal Maksi.
Yeah, he's still the winner, the champion, the legend.
Yeah, he always wins.
Yeah, he always wins, mashallah. And I think he's our inspiration as well for the rally, for the youngsters. And
you
we
know the
really
good
look
thing-
forward to him actually.
Since we are talking about him, I just want to mention the good thing about him. He will do it for the sake of the sport. Like, he won't do it for money. Of course, I mean, whatever it takes. But I'm saying that he's really into it, and people respect him for that. And he actually respects his work, which is why I have massive respect for him.
Wow, that's great. So let me just come back to Brigadier Sahib
Yeah.
over here
Thank
as
you.
well, because the kind of brand you're representing over here, I think that people have a lot of respect for that because of the kind of services you provided to all of these youngsters.
Yeah.
Now, speaking about not just desert rallies and drivers, but speaking about them as well, what kind of sponsorship is it? Is it that you're going to give them the cars, stays, whatever they require? Or is it like 100% sponsorship? Is it like a 50% sponsorship? And what is the criteria for Top City to sponsor people as well? So if there are more athletes out there, so that they can get in touch.
Basically, it's a complete sponsorship. It's not the partial
I
sponsorship.
think I want to
of
be a
the
driver.
50%.
I know, right? Wow.
And the 25%.
That sounds good.
It's their monthly, and it's the cars, it's the entire logistic, the stay.
Okay.
And we would love Salma Marwat Khan, the Super Salma, to represent Pakistan and Top City in the Dakar one day.
Exactly.
Inshallah.
This is what we are looking at, basically.
Wow.
Top City is not only sponsoring this car rally drivers, but we are also sponsoring a squash player.
And you can name them as well, sir.
Yeah,
For all
it
of
is.
those players you
It is
sponsored.
Norina,
All right.
Okay.
Norina Shams.
Norina Shams,
She's
yeah.
a great athlete.
and now Samar Khan,
That's nice.
and that's the biker.
Exactly.
And the last one, I think, is
Khan
Khan
Saeed
Saeed
Afridi.
Afridi. Khan Saeed Afridi is a Thai kickboxer.
Exactly.
And we are open to any other sportsman, the upcoming talent, and we would love to sponsor in more sports field.
Wow.
Wow, that is very interesting.
That's wonderful and interesting as well. But this, then, ladies and gentlemen, I think at this point of time, what we really need to do is go out for a short break,
Yeah.
because when you guys will come back, we have a lot of stories to share, we have a lot of pictures to share as well, and we want to hear them from the horse's mouth as well. So when you guys will come back, we'll share pictures from when Salma was driving, and then we'll share pictures from when Adil was driving as well. So let's go for a break. Don't go anywhere, because we have a lot of action waiting for you.
Yes.
Good morning.
Stay tuned.
Passion for polo will be the highest on the world's highest polo ground. Chandur invites visitors to experience a traditional polo tournament between the teams of Chitral and Gilgit. The tournament is held on Chandur Pass, the highest polo ground in the world, at 3,700 meters above sea level. The first time a polo tournament took place on the Chandur Pass was in 1936. It is a place unique and exotic in itself, surrounded by some of the most spectacular mountain scenery in the world. The event marks the annual rivalry between the teams of Chitral and Gilgit. The polo tournament has some added attractions for the visitors: trout fishing at the nearby streams and lakes, and a festival of folk dances and music of northern Pakistan. The event in itself offers a fascinating insight into the lifestyle of the people of this region. Their culture and indigenous customs are a delight to behold for the visitors. Crystal clear lakes, snow-covered mountains, alpine flowers, and vast stretches of green grass are added attractions. Fairs and festivals of Pakistan.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For everybody who just got tuned into PTV World, you watching World this morning, and I have a confession to make. And let me be very honest about it. So since I've been doing this LPL as well, Lanka Premier League, and
Oh,
my
yes.
level circle for PTV Sports, so every time I'm on PTV World, I'm thinking, okay, I have to say PTV World. And, just automatically, whenever I'm on PTV Sports, I actually have to think and remind myself that I shouldn't be saying PTV World as well.
It's
So-
because this is home.
yeah, this is home, ladies and gentlemen. But we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by champions of the Thal Desert Rally over here, and they're doing a wonderful job so far, even in the interview, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, absolutely. And Shazad, I mean, if I were to ever think even of being in a Jeep rally,
Yeah.
I mean, just thinking of it makes me nauseous. Of course, because of course the speed is going to be insane
I'll
and it's
be
going to be
excited.
so bumpy. Of course, excitement is one thing, but think about being inside that very motor, right? A jeep, whatever
No,
vehicle.
I think that the right way to let people think about it is, imagine that your car is going at 160 kilometer per hour and all of a sudden it takes flight for another 100 feet, and imagine how you might be feeling.
I cannot
because
imagine.
you're not in control anymore as well. But I think it's going to get more exciting from here onwards as well, because Salma, ladies and gentlemen, will be sharing a lot of different incidents which took place. So Salma, बताइए क्या इंटरेस्टिंग वाकयात हुए आपकी इस करियर में?
मेरी तो लाइक फर्स्ट रेस से ही इतने सारे स्टोरीज हैं कि आप लोग का पूरा प्रोग्राम खत्म हो जाएगा, बट मैं मेन बता देती हूँ.
जरूर.
लाइक मुझे तो इजाज़त नहीं मिल रही थी, क्योंकि पूरा ये आप देखें तो सारी मेल का है कि भाई मोटर स्पोर्ट्स तो है ही मेल के लिए. बड़ी मुश्किल से जब मुझे इजाज़त मिली, शॉर्ट करके सुनाती हूँ. फर्स्ट रैली जो थी, तो लाइक हम लोग वहाँ पहुँचे तो मुझे लाइक टेम्परेचर हो गया और फुल डायरिया, तो 103 तक था और मैं हॉस्पिटलाइज थी. तो मुझे जब टीम ने कहा कि भाई उनको वापस भेजें, मैंने कहा आज वापस गई तो फिर कभी नहीं आऊँगी. लाइक लेकिन मैंने लाइक एक वो किया कि नहीं, आई एम फाइन, वापस आ गए, होटल में वापस आ गई, पार्टिसिपेट किया और अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह मैंने फर्स्ट पोजीशन ली. और वहाँ पे काफ़ी मेल पार्टिसिपेंट जो लाइक जैसे कि ये लोग मोहम्मद हैं 6-7 साल से अगर नेविगेशन कर रहे इस तरह वो लोग रेस कर रहे, उनका टाइम भी मैंने बीट किया. तो अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह पहली विक्ट्री ये हुआ. उसके बाद झलमक्सी में ये हुआ कि थोड़ा लेफ्ट हैंड था, मैं राइट पे प्रैक्टिस कर रही थी, तो मेरी गाड़ी जो है वो लाइक टक्कर लग गई एक जगह पे, लाइक उसमें बम्प्स वगैरह आ जाते हैं.
डेजर्ट में किधर टक्कर लगी?
नहीं, लाइक छोटा सा पुल टाइप बना हुआ था और उसमें से हमने गाड़ी गुजारनी थी. और पुल इतना था कि आप लाइक थोड़ा सा डिस्टेंस आप अगर इधर उधर हो गए तो हम आपने जैसे बताया स्पीड 160 170 और एकदम टर्न आते हैं. तो वहाँ उस वक्त आदिल भाई मेरे साथ थे, हम लोग लाइक मैंने गाड़ी मार दी. एक गाड़ी मारी तो गाड़ी सीधी नहीं जा रही थी, बिल्कुल टेढ़ी जा रही थी. एंड वी वर लाइक पूरे उसमें हम लोग ये था कि हम लोग गाड़ी रोक के हम लोगों ने सोल्यूशन निकाले, लेकिन वो भी कंप्लीट कर लिया मैंने. फिर हब रैली आई. हब रैली में मेरी गाड़ी टॉपल्ड अप हो गई थी लाइक 6 to 7 टाइम्स. ये मेरे साथ है. यस, फ्लिप हुई और गाड़ी में आग भी लग गई. लेकिन अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह हम दोनों लाइक हम लोग शीशे वीशे लगे थे, बेल्ट्स और हेलमेट थे, तो उसकी वजह से. और रोल केज होता है, उसके बगैर आपको गाड़ी नहीं लेके जाने देते.
इसमें जो बहुत जरूरी बात है जो मुझे लगता है आपसे पूछनी चाहिए वो ये है कि 2-3 डेजर्ट रैलीज में आप गाड़ी मार चुकी हैं, रोल अप कर चुकी हैं, तो स्पॉन्सर हर दफा आपको स्पॉन्सर कहते थे या कहते हैं कि भाईजान माफ कर दो, आप किसी और को रख लेते हैं.
ये बताएं, आप अगर रेसिंग मतलब कि जैसे मोहम्मद हैं 6-7 साल से, मैं तो अभी 2 साल हुए मुझे, लाइक कहते हैं कि जब तक आपने गाड़ी रोल ओवर नहीं की आप ड्राइवर नहीं बन सकते हो. लाइक आप ये है, और बड़े बड़े ड्राइवर जो हैं वो ये काम कर चुके हैं. तो फिर उसके बाद हब थल रैली में मेरे साथ ऐसे हुआ कि हम लोग 4 किलोमीटर कहीं और चले गए, क्योंकि वहाँ के जो लोग होते हैं, लोकल लोग होते हैं, वो एरोज जो बने होते हैं लाइक लेफ्ट को राइट कर देते हैं, राइट को लेफ्ट कर देते हैं. इसलिए हमें 5-6 दिन पहले जाना पड़ता है. हम लोग को ट्रैक लाइक याद भी करना पड़ता है. और जैसे उन्होंने बताया हमारे पास मैप्स हैं, ऐप्स है सॉरी, उन पे हम मैप पूरा रिकॉर्ड करते हैं. तो वहाँ पे कभी नेटवर्क भी काम नहीं करता. तो जो सबसे ज़्यादा हमारा होता है, हम लोगों ने मैप को खुद ही याद करना है, पूरे ट्रैक्स याद करने. तो 4 किलोमीटर हम बाहर चले गए, वो भी हम बाहर गए हैं तो, लेकिन वापस अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह फिर भी मैंने फर्स्ट पोजीशन ली. जितनी गाड़ियाँ मेरे से आगे गई हैं मैंने उनको टेक ओवर किया और फर्स्ट पोजीशन ली. अभी थल में क्या हुआ मेरे साथ के पहले बोनट खुला, हमने गाड़ी रोकी, फिर बोनट खुला, फिर हमने गाड़ी रोकी. और उसके बाद लाइक लोकल गाड़ियाँ जो हैं,
We ever have your pictures on screen as well.
जी, अभी अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह मैं ये यूज़ कर रही हूँ, टकोमा है 4.6 V8 इंजन, और ये HPR पे बिल्ड की गई है.
HPR का मसला सिर्फ ये है कि अब गाड़ी उधर दे तो जाए, लेकिन अगर फोन ना कराएं तो गाड़ी आपकी फौरन में ठीक है.
अच्छा, इन गाड़ियों को चलाना इजी नहीं है. लाइक अभी मैंने जिम स्टार्ट किया है. लाइक पहले ये था कि मैं स्टार्ट में तो घर आती थी तो ब्रूजेस बने हुए होते थे. लाइक इट्स हार्ड, मतलब डेजर्ट और रोड डिफिकल्ट है.
So now you're properly preparing yourself.
बिल्कुल.
Yeah, but still you're doing an amazing job, mashallah. But you know, I want to move on to Mohammed Marwat over here, because you have been grinning and smiling for a long time, which only makes me think you have a lot of stories, maybe with your drivers or maybe of your own self. Do you have some to share?
Well, yes, I participated in Sarfaranga Desert Rally, which happens in Skardu in 2019. So we had a really good qualifying run, and on the race day we had a rollover. So I just wanted to add up that when I got out of the rollover, my father came to me and he was like, "Are you all right?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Get prepared for the next race."
Okay.
So he did not say that you're not going anymore or that. That is because this is the only legal motorsports in Pakistan, first and
Right.
foremost. And secondly, it has a lot of safety, basically SOPs and requirements that we have to follow. Otherwise, they don't let you race.
Yeah.
All right, and since you're in this field for, like Salma mentioned, for so many years now, do you think, of course, the aim is to make it super international and super big, but when is that going to happen? Or do you think that actually foreign racers would be interested in here?
I mean, if you look at the terrain and the tracks of Pakistan, it's no less than Dakar or it's no less than WRC.
All right.
So it all depends on on our institutions and on our government how they promote it
And how we advertise it.
how we
actually.
advertise it. Yeah, actually.
True.
So I hope one
Yeah.
day that we will be representing in Dakar and people from abroad, they will be coming to Pakistan as well.
Inshallah.
Yes,
Of
inshallah.
course.
And you know, I think that this is this is how our vision needs to be as well. That Pakistan hosting, for example, Dakar for that matter as well, or people coming from abroad to such festivities and enjoy our desert rallies as well. I think that'll be great. But speaking of that, Brigadier Sahab, now what I wanted to ask you was that for obviously, you know, this might not be your area, but I think that you will be the right person to ask this question. That when we host such desert rallies and a lot of people come over there, so people, and since we think about desert as well, so let people know that, you know, do we have problems with traveling, lodging, staying, you know, all of those necessities which we may probably require for such a festivity, are they there in place? Is TDCP putting in a lot of work for that matter?
And can people just come to observe and enjoy?
Generally, I think you have pointed out a very important, an issue. The logistic and all other things, they are not readily available. We have been requesting the local influential, where proper hotels are not available to accommodate our team.
Okay.
If we are talking of hosting an international event, then we will have to build that infrastructure to host that event. Otherwise, it will not be possible, and it's very difficult to live in the tents in desert.
Exactly.
So the Tourism Development Corporation needs to build the infrastructure if they intend in the future to hold any international event, whether it is Hub, whether it is Cholistan, whether it is Tal.
Yeah.
Tal, the nearest station where you can find out the hotels, where you can find out the other thing is Multan. For the
From Multan, you have to drive on the race day as well. And how long is the drive?
yeah, we have to go to Muzaffargarh from Multan, and there the Tal,
One
track
and a half
starts.
hour from to starting point and to end है वहाँ से हमें 2.5 hour लगता है. Like पूरा हम जब रैकी करके
रेस करने
वापस
के बाद
आते
थकने के
थे.
बाद
नहीं,
ढाई
it's not
घंटे
just
गाड़ी
a
चला के घर
race.
आना है।
हम लोग जो 4-5 दिन पहले जाके हम लोग रैकी करते हैं. Like वो भी हमारा होता है. तो
Exactly.
डेली ये 4 hours तो थल में हमारे सिर्फ नॉर्मल ड्राइव पे लग जाते हैं रैकी के बगैर.
So I think if my dad is watching, I mean, tap the hotels area in Muzaffargarh and stuff, right? I mean, this is a good potential for us to.
I think that, you know, looking at an event which is only going to happen once a year,
true.
I think it's, or probably we need to think about places and ways as well, because people do take their caravans, you know, it can be a different festivity.
Yeah.
But sir, I'm sorry, but I have this habit of asking multi-layered questions as well. So what I wanted to ask you was that now, since you have supported so many athletes, you have been promoting them as well, and it is a public-private partnership indeed, and I think that your CEO is doing a great job as well. What I want to know is that, don't you think that probably Top City can actually step into this game as well in making all of these events feasible? And what we are trying to ask from TDCP, probably you can do that too.
We have not, frankly speaking, considered this, but we can go into a joint venture with the
government.
with the TDCP.
Exactly.
Answering your last question, basically, if the government or the semi-government organization, if they develop that infrastructure, it is not only going to be utilized for this particular rally only. We can develop, like in Dubai, the desert safari, where the people
Yes.
come and it's on daily basis.
Yes.
It can give you very good business, basically.
Exactly.
So that hotel is not going to be occupied only for that duration, but it's I believe it's going to be occupied 365 days a year.
Exactly. But I don't know, sir, whether they are going to allow us for the ballet dance or not. I think that's the only part I'm thinking about right now.
We'll show our culture
But we
now.
can we can have our local ballet dance, the desert dance.
Which is Bhangra or
Why
something.
not? Yeah, the Bhangra
Exactly.
one.
But you know, it makes me really happy, Shazad, how such events and such sports are actually making the tourism boom, and cultural tourism for that matter. Because I happen to have some friends who are really always looking forward to the Jeep rally happening near the Rawar Fort,
Yep.
and they would go days and sometimes even weeks prior to that, camp over there, spend their time, and explore southern Punjab, which usually people don't think of. People are always like, oh, we have a vacation, let's go to the north.
Yep.
So this is the type of events that we need to do as a nation, of course, to make people realize that Pakistan is beautiful in all places,
It is.
right?
It is. There's no doubt. And ladies and gentlemen, since the Prime Minister has actually taken office, I think that they've really invested their energies into tourism and development as well. For that matter, let's speak about Gilgit-Baltistan as well. A lot of people have started going to the north and they love it over there as well, and the facilities are there as well.
And the convenience
and that too
matters.
amidst COVID. And I think all of these things happening I think is fantabulous and phenomenal as well. But now, Adil, I have a very important question. This is something while we were watching your videos, that the locals have this habit of standing very close to the track. And I don't think that there are any campaigns taking place to make them aware that, hey, you know what, you probably need to step back and it is very dangerous. And we've seen similar incidents over here in Islamabad as well. There was this race in a town, and God forbid something wrong did happen. So, when we're talking about desert rallies, does such kind of incidents take place? And if they do, God forbid, what kind of ambulance system do we have in place? Is somebody going to come? Because it's a desert, I don't know where you might probably be back then.
So important.
Yeah, I think not just desert rally, any motorsports is a very dangerous sports, and spectators and whoever is watching should be standing way behind from the track. And actually, organizers tell them usually, but they don't listen to it. And I think it's all about the awareness. And once the incident happens, on social media you get a lot of coverage, and then people come to know about this incident.
Exactly.
So I think, yes, the organizers should make it really strict. They should not be standing there. But I think in deserts, like the track is like 100, 140 to 500 kilometers. It's not easy for the organizers to make sure that people are not standing right next to the track.
Exactly.
So yeah, it is tough. But as far as the arrangements are concerned, we have ambulances there, we have fire brigades, and even sometimes the rangers in the army really supports the event as well.
Wow.
To make sure, and the police and the local administration body.
I think that's wonderful as well, but towards the end of the show, we're only left with 3 or 4 minutes as well. We want our champions to give out messages, and we want you to, kind of shed light on what the future of these desert rallies and motorsports is in Pakistan, because we really do not have any drag racing strip for that matter. There are people who go to different places to do all of these kind of activities as well. And God forbid, I think that it is an eye-opener for the government as well. Why do you see all of these kids rash driving on the roads? Because you haven't given them a place or a playground to do so, or any particular place. So I think that the government really needs to decide what areas we can probably let people, do what they want to do. And I think that this is how we are going to make new entrepreneurs. This is how we need to go and make new sportsmen as well, ladies and gentlemen. We really need to explore, and we really need to open up as well. So we're going to start with you. Whatever message you have, whatever you want to share, you have a minute to yourself, please go ahead.
Well, I would want to encourage the youth, especially my friends and people of my age, to come into this field, because it's a very safe and it's a very, you can start slowly and gradually. So if you come into this field and you start rallying, so you will avoid driving rash on the roads, you will avoid drifting.
Exactly.
And all of that kind of stuff that is not provided by the government here in Pakistan. So I would want to, ask all my friends to come into this, take a part, start slowly, just go, just see what this is, do awareness campaigns about this rallying. And well, yeah, that's it.
Well, that's wonderful. I think I have a quick suggestion as well. If Top City will actually have their own drag strip, I think a lot of people are going to come to Top City as well. Just a suggestion.
Yeah. Well, my message is for the administration and the government. I think this is a perfect platform, and on the national television, that we should promote motorsports in Pakistan. In Pakistan, motorsports is known as like a rich boys game. No, it is not exactly. We're coming from a normal background, and thanks to Top City for sponsoring us, and it's kind of a dreams come true. So if there's a will, there's a way. And I think like Pakistan has already produced a lot of IT specialists around the world. I think we have a talent to produce a lot of good drivers for the international motorsports. We have all the rickshaw drivers, truck drivers, bus drivers, and you know the way they drive, the racing
And
line they
underage
have.
drivers.
The race drivers. So I think we must promote motorsports.
Yeah, and you are our champion, and we'll continue to celebrate you as well. And talking about the rickshaw drivers, ladies and gentlemen, imagine that rickshaw drivers over in Pakistan can actually drive the rickshaw on two wheels as well.
वेल रिक्शा ड्राइवर्स ने ही हमें प्रॉपर ड्राइवर बनाया, ये मैं एक बात ऐड करती हूँ, क्योंकि लाहौर में आप देखें रिक्शा ड्राइवर्स आपको एक प्रॉपर लाइक आपको कटिंग सिखाते हैं कि भाई ठीक है आप बच के निकल जाओ यहाँ से हम तो साइड पे नहीं होएंगे.
ऐसे ही है. तो आप क्या कहेंगे?
गवर्नमेंट को कहूँगी 2 साल से मैं भी यहाँ हूँ, गवर्नमेंट को कहूँगी ट्रैक्स बनाएं, ये रैश ड्राइविंग और जो इलीगल रेसिंग है ये ख़त्म हो जाएगी. सेकंड में जैसे मोहम्मद ने कहा यूथ को एक मैसेज, और मतलब सारी इनकी बातों को थोड़ा मिक्स करके रिच मतलब पीपल का गेम है. बट आई स्टार्टेड, मैं रेंट पे गाड़ियाँ लेकर जाती थी स्लोली, मेरा कोई एक्सपीरियंस नहीं था. पैशन है तो आप कर सकते हो, ज़रूर आओ, वो चाहे मोटर स्पोर्ट्स हो चाहे कोई भी हो, और प्लीज़ ट्रैक्स बनवाएं. इवन मैं अगर भी बास्केटबॉल, नेटबॉल, वॉलीबॉल इसमें भी चैम्पियन होती, बट कोई ट्रैक, कोई कोर्ट कुछ भी नहीं है पाकिस्तान में. अगर हम इस तरह की चीज़ें ज़्यादा बनाएंगे, ऑनेस्टली स्पीकिंग ड्रग्स बिल्कुल ख़त्म हो जाएगी पाकिस्तान में.
Wonderful message indeed. Brigadier Saab, towards the end, anything you want to wrap it up with?
Thank you so much. I think it cannot be done alone by the government. The private sector has to come up and support the government in this field. और जब दोनों इकट्ठे मिलके काम करेंगे, तो I am sure that we'll produce much better sportsmen of the international standing.
Wow.
So it's the other business entities, the corporate sector, which has to come up and support the government in sponsoring and making and searching the talent, and it's a healthy activity, and that's the end of it.
Exactly, it is. Thank you very much for joining us. It was wonderful to host our champions as well, and please continue to strive for excellence. Our best wishes are with you, but please drive safe as well. And for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, it's an open platform. We want to promote our talented, amazing youngsters over here in Pakistan doing wonderful jobs. And I think for all of those people who are out there, you really need to take inspiration from such people, ladies and gentlemen, because they've achieved something in their life and they continue to do so.
Right, and you cannot be born with a silver spoon in your mouth. If you have the passion or the will to do so, you will definitely achieve anything, and of course with the right sponsors as well. So ladies and gentlemen, if you still have any queries or if you have any feedback back regarding this show as well, write to us on our social media pages. Facebook with the name of
World This Morning on your television screens down below.
On Twitter.
On Twitter, it's World This Morning without a G.
On YouTube.
On YouTube, ladies and gentlemen, you will look for PTV World, and then the most viewed show of this channel is World This Morning. Shukar Alhamdulillah.
Yes, absolutely. And the repeat of this show you can catch at
5 past midnight, ladies and gentlemen. Till the next time, look after yourselves, and please make sure to take inspiration from these amazing heroes as well.
But drive safe.
1, 2, 3. Good morning.
Passion for polo will be the highest on the world's highest polo ground.